Tekah B'Shofar Gadol L'cheiruteinu. There should be a great shofar blast. There should be a great shofar blast, we say in the 10th bracha of Shemoneh Esrei. We're going through the Shemoneh Esrei. We're on now number 10. Malchut. 10 is the sphere of Malchut. Malchut means kingship. And Malchut means sovereignty. And 1948, we regained sovereignty of our land. After nearly 2,000 years, the indigenous people of the land of Israel came back to their land. The longest running group of people with the same traditions, the same language, the same culture, the same everything. No? Amazing? And we're here. Yerushalayim Yer Kodesh. Jerusalem, the holy city. Tekah B'Shofar Gadol L'cheiruteinu Hashem. This bracha is called Kibbutz Galuot, which means the ingathering of the exiles. Which means, if you don't live in Israel, do you know what you're called? You're in exile. You're in exile, my friends. Now, you know what the biggest exile is? When you're okay with it. You're like, well, so what? It's pretty good in Brooklyn. It's pretty good. This exile in Boca Raton, this is great exile, man. I'm like, whoa. So when I arrived in Israel, 2006, September 2006, I arrived in Israel, and then I started learning. By March 2007, I was like, this is where a Jew's meant to be. Arrived straight from Japan. Completely secular Jew from Japan. Arrived in Israel, learned what it means to be a Jew, learned what Judaism is, and I was like, hello, welcome home, baby. Because when I wanted to study Korea, do you know where I went to live for a year and a half when I wanted to study Taekwondo? In Korea. And when I wanted to study Aikido, do you know where I went to live for a year and a half? Japan. And when I wanted to study yoga, do you know where I went? I went to India. That's correct. And when I wanted to learn kickboxing, do you know where I went? Thailand. Why do you think when I wanted to learn Taekwondo, I went to Korea? Because that's where Taekwondo's from. And that's what they do there. And when I wanted to learn Aikido, I went to Japan. Do you know why? Crazy. Because that's what they do there. That's where it's from. And when I wanted to learn about Thai Buddhism, do you know where I went? Thailand. Do you know why? Because that's where it's from. So when I worked out what it means to be a Jew and what Judaism is, do you know where I said I'm going to live and raise my children? Muncie. I'm going to go and live in Muncie. You idiot, what are you doing? So I'm going to go to Wales to learn Taekwondo. What? You haven't even heard of Wales. American people don't know anything. Isn't that crazy? It's crazy.
Jonah?
Pardon?
Like Jonah and the whale?
Yes. So we're praying at the first opportunity we can, bring us all, every single Jew, back to Israel. Right now. There's going to be this shofar when the Mashiach comes. Did you see those cool Taiwanese traveling musicians who came to see me? No? Okay. They were at the Rainbow Gathering in Israel. They met someone who happened to know me. And they said, we want to learn about Judaism, Kabbalah. And they said, Rabbi Dov Ber. So they cool. These very cool people. They came and met me in the park on Shabbos as well. And they came to my essentials class. And he just walks around with his two flutes with feathers, so it looks like it's got bow and arrow. And no shoes. So these cool traveling wanderers. Musician, they play. I took them to the roof. They played some like, and it was cool. And they were asking me all questions, and he knew quite a lot. He was like, you know the Ketah or Malchut? Ketah and Malchut, how they come together? I was like, well, dude, you know this. And it's amazing. I'll show you. I took some videos. They're amazing people. About a month ago, a guy from India came to Aish. He said, I've come to find out. Our sages, this is the prophecies coming true. Prophecies coming true. It says at the end of days, we're coming back to the land. The Jews are coming back to the land. 1900, What percentage of Jewish people lived in Israel? 0.5%. 0.5%. Now we're nearly at 50%. By the way, once it's 50%, all of Shemitah becomes deraisa, everything like 50, and that's now basically. This is it. End of days. The prophecies say that the biggest sign of the end of the days is when the land comes back to life. Now this is, you all know this, I hope, having seen Discovery. The most supernatural prophecy in the Torah is that the Fertile Crescent, this land flowing with milk and honey, is going to become a desert when the Jewish people leave the land of Israel, which we did 2,000 years ago. And this fertile, lush, civilized land literally turned into a desert for 2,000 years whilst we were out. The Torah says when you go out the land, it's going to be a desolate land. The land will be in ruins, and you've got the Romans and the Byzantines and the Ottomans. They were all here. No civilization here. Nothing for 2,000 years. It was a desert. In 1890, the population of Israel was 400,000 nomadic wanderers. And now there are more than 800,000 people in Jerusalem today, by the way. Just understand that. You think, I first heard that, I was like, 400,000, that's quite a lot. It's not very much at all. And now we got 9 million of the indigenous people. What percentage of Israeli population are immigrants? 80, 90%. What is that? How many people spoke Hebrew 100 years ago as their first language? None. Not one. No one was walking out. They were speaking Arabic in Syria and those places, and they were speaking Yiddish, and they were speaking no one. And suddenly you got 9 million people. That's what we speak. My children speak Hebrew at school. It's amazing. These are the prophecies coming true. Maybe the prophets, they saw you sitting in this classroom. They were like, wow, people are going to be learning Torah by the kata. This is unbelievable. This should be very exciting. I don't know about you, but Friday was very exciting for me. I was like, this is crazy. That was very crazy. Not only how crazy the Mossad, they're just walking around Tehran. That's just... Imagine the dad puts his kid to bed. He said, okay, son, I've got to go to work. I'll see you in the morning. And he's like, whoops. Now he's in Tehran. He's like, come back in the morning. Here, son, how did you sleep well? Here's your breakfast. It's like, where have you been, Dad? He's like, how's it work? Tekah B'Shofar Gadol L'cheiruteinu. Why? And by the way, let's remember, Israel is not just our native land. That's not what it is. It's not like Swedish people are patriotic and they love the country of Sweden. And French people like France. That's very cute, and you should be patriotic. Here's my land. But that's just a cultural civilization, patriotic, this is my land. Israel is mamish, the Holy Land. I want you to understand that. It's not just our country. It's mitzvahs get plugged in Israel. The Ramban, Rashi, many people say that a mitzvah done outside the land of Israel, why do we even do mitzvahs out? There's a question. Why do we even do mitzvahs outside the land of Israel? Mitzvahs are for Israel. That's where they go together. That is a valid, real question. We don't get it because our sages teach us there's something called olam, shana, and nefesh, which means space, time, and soul. These are the three things that God created. He created the time-space continuum and the souls to go in it. So when it comes to time, we have holy places in time, holy times in time. Like Shabbat is a holy time. And Rosh Chodesh and the festivals, that's the holy times in time. And when it comes to people, we have holy people in people. That's our people. We're the holy people. And when it comes to space, there's a holy space, and that's called Israel and Yerushalayim. And within Yerushalayim, holy and holy and holy, until you get to the Holy of Holies, which is 50 meters from you right now. All of the holiness of the world comes out from there. It's not that it's holy because the Beit HaMikdash was built there. The Beit HaMikdash was built there because that's the place of holiness. And it says at the end of days, the whole world will raise its level of holiness to be the level of Israel, and the whole of Israel will be the level of Yerushalayim in holiness. That's why our sages say that Shabbat in Chutz La'aretz, Shabbat anywhere outside of Israel, is on the same spiritual level as a weekday in Israel. Shabbat, and you know that, by the way, once you've lived in Israel, I run Shabbatons in America all the time, and I go and it gets, Friday day is nice and go to the mikveh. We're preparing for Shabbos. It gets dark and you're like, that's not Shabbos. It's like, I'll make Kiddush and I won't turn on lights. And I'll do it, but it's not Shabbos. Once you walk around Yerushalayim on Shabbos, Tzfat on Shabbos, Mezhibuz on Shabbos, there's one place outside of Israel. It's like, we're just practicing. So the Ramban and others say, why do you do mitzvahs outside the land of Israel? So you don't forget how to do them when you come back to the land of Israel. This is in the Talmud. I didn't make that up. The Talmud says these things. Anyone who lives outside the land of Israel as if he doesn't have a God. It's as if you don't know a God. What do you mean? God's everywhere. No, God is more here, more in Israel, direct. Deals with Israel directly. His eyes are on us all the time. Israel is Hashem's land. This is it. And and you can come out after 2,000 years. The doors were open. Come out. And every year people are sitting and they're sitting in Manchester and they're saying Shana Haba B'Yerushalayim, and they pray every day. V'L Yerushalayim. It's like, yeah, well, you can come now. Oh wow. I go. Now, just to back off a little bit, there are reasons for Jews to be outside of Israel. If you've got sick parents or something, if you got to be there for things. If you want to learn a trade or a skill that you can learn better, to then bring it to Israel, that's fair. Kiruv, to be there to empower as many Jewish people as you can in their Jewish identity, and then bring them back to Israel. I can't really think of it. I know the Gemara says that you've got parnasa, if you need to make money, or if you want a shidduch, if you need to get married, or you want to learn Torah. But that Gemara was speaking to people who don't have emunah. They don't know, because Hashem can find you a wife in Israel. I'm sorry, if you don't believe that, then you should get out of Israel probably. No, Hashem can't find you money. And also, it depends how much money you want. Do you want a mansion? Because you're not going to be in Israel and have a mansion. But I'd rather sleep on a park bench in Jerusalem than have a mansion in Maryland. I'm mamish. I said that. I said, I'm coming in. I'd rather sleep in a tiny little apartment somewhere in Israel than have a beautiful, big, amazing house in England or America. Obvious to me. But you know why? It's just because I have priorities. I prioritize spirituality over materialism. And once you do that, then it's not even a question. It's not even a question. Why would I... Now, also, just to back off a little bit, to not be too over extreme, the Baal Shem Tov and Rav Moshe Feinstein and the Chavetz Chaim, they didn't live in Israel. And I'm not suggesting that their mitzvahs weren't mitzvahs and that they didn't have a God. So let's just pull it down and be a little bit more. But they also believed. They also wanted to come here. They were like, if we could, we'd be there. So if for any reason you can't be in Israel, at least you should be wanting to be in Israel. It should be something like that. In an ideal state, if I could make it there financially and I didn't have family and all that, of course I want to be in Israel. That at least has to be your mindset. And if you raise your children not in Israel, you should be saying to them, we're going to Israel. We're here for now, but we're in exile. This isn't our land. This isn't our land. We're meant to be in the land of Israel. That's what we're doing. So that's what we're celebrating so much. When we celebrate coming back to Israel, 1948, 1967, 73, all of these things, we're not celebrating military victory. That's not what we're celebrating. We're celebrating an establishment back in where we're meant to be. How many times do we speak about leaving Egypt? Oh, Yetzias Mitzrayim, we left Egypt. People seem to forget. Why? To go to Israel. The leaving Egypt was just the beginning. We left Egypt, that's freedom from, and then you got freedom to. Where are we going? We're going to the land of Israel. That's where we're going. We're walking through the desert. These pastures right now. We're walking through the desert for 40 years to get to the land of Israel. That's all Moshe Rabbeinu crying his eyes out. Hashem, please let me just be in Israel. Just let me go to that. Actually, do you know what it says? It says that Moshe wanted to come to the land of Israel. Why? To eat the fruit. To eat the fruit of the land of Israel. It's amazing. By the way, if, God forbid, you had to not live in Israel, buy Israeli fruit. Go to your local Tesco, Sainsbury's, Trader Joe's, and buy Israeli fruit. The Arizal even seems to suggest that you should buy the 4 holy fruits, the 7 holy fruits of Israel, really the 5 fruits and the grains. Buy pomegranate and dates and grapes and olives and figs, even if they were grown outside of Israel, in some spiritual way, they suck some spiritual energy from Israel. Those are our fruits. So if God forbid you had to live there, you just survive on those things. Very important. Get it in. Tekah B'Shofar Gadol L'cheiruteinu. This is the Kibbutz Gluos. So we're going to find which Jews are coming back. I'm pouring in. And we actually found what I found amazing here. After October the 7th, how many Jews came to Israel? They were like, I can't not be, I've never been to Israel, I'm Jewish. How many Jews started regaining that identity, and how many missions there were here to help, and people coming. And you read about the cowboys, very big, famous at the beginning of the war. There were those cowboy farmers, Christians from America, and they came and they started helping the farmers in the south by Gaza. So now one of their fathers came, so that one of them converted, and his father and mother came to Israel, and they're converting, and he's got like 7 blonde sisters who they brought to Aish. They were at Aish. I'll show you some pictures. And they're all converting. They're just like, it's time to come home. Lots of conversion happening now. Because once Mashiach comes, you can't convert. That's it. You're done. It's like, you had your chance. So lots of conversion. People are like flooding back. This is, the prophecy is going true. Tekah B'Shofar Gadol L'cheiruteinu sanes l'kabez geluatenu, and it says raise a banner here, and nes is a banner, but we all know it means miracle. Let's make some miracles. Let's have some open miracles. Let's bring us back here, because I think that's what it's going to take to get most of American Jews to actually leave their mansions to come. Now I go to America, those guys, you got a whole basement. There's a whole like wonder world down there. Got a table tennis table and a basketball hoop and like toys and books. All this, and they got 17 rooms. It's like, hold on, I don't even have, that's my whole house, isn't that? Your basement is better than my whole house. So I need to get a miracle to get this person to leave his like fancy home. Sanes, raise a banner, bring us back. Lekabet Guladenu, Kapsenu Yachad, and Kibbutz, Kabetz, Lekabetz, Kfutza. Kfutza, what does kfutza mean? It's a group, it's a team. We're on the same team. We're on the same team. This is where we're meant to be. Imagine having a team that's spread out all over the world. Now, do I think it's important to have a strong diaspora? I do. And do I appreciate what the diaspora Jews for the Jews in Israel? I do. Do I think Israel could be nearly as strong without the diaspora Jews? I don't. I think diaspora Jews are great. But finish what you need to do and come back. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I want you. You need to be there. Amazing. But the truth is, if we all came here, there'd be some spiritual crazy thing where we don't need a diaspora. Whilst it's self-fulfilling. Whilst we have a diaspora, we need a diaspora. But once we all come home, we don't need it anymore because we're all here, and that would be it. Mashiach will come, and that would be it. We'd be the light unto the nations. Everything will be okay. Kapseinu yachad. Yachad. Yachad means unity. Just bring us back in unity. Let's be unified. Once we're a unified people, then we're doing our job in the world, then we don't need any more war and hatred and stuff like that. May arba kamfot haaretz, from the 4 corners of the earth, north, south, east, west, bring us back. And we've been praying for this for 2,000 years. Come back. And we see the move is happening now. It's coming. Everything, you're trickling back in. Tekah B'Shofar Gadol L'cheiruteinu. So this is really, as we've said with all of the other brachas, it's not just a physical request. Just that we should all come and live in Israel. It's not. It's a completely spiritual request that we become one. We become together. The Jewish people, we were always together. We stuck together all the time. We moved through the desert together for 40 years. We came into Israel, and that was our land until the first exile. And you know the biggest terrible mistake ever? After the first exile, most of the Jews didn't come back. The prophecy was, you're going to be exiled, you're going to spend 70 years in Persia. Then we got the whole Purim thing. After Purim, we start coming back. We got Ezra, we got Nehemiah, and Ezra was basically Moshe Rabbeinu. Ezra made Judaism again. And lots of the Jews said, no, we're comfortable where we are. We're all right. You guys sort it out and we'll come when we're ready. Big problems happened from that. So Ezra basically rebuilt Judaism in Israel, but with most of the Jews didn't come back at that point. So we can't make the same mistake again. Baruch atah Hashem, blessed are you, Mekabez nidchei, you should gather together the nidchei. Do you know what a nidchei means? Here, let's see the translation. Dispersed. But it really means pushed away. Nidchei. It's pushed off. So what we should feel is, if we're not in our land, we've been pushed off. We're like, pushed away. So Hashem says, well, I'm not pushing you away. The second you want to come back, you can come back. As soon as you want to be invested. Sorry, did you have a question?
When it says, raise the banner to gather our exiles, was that referring to like coming of Mashiach, or what else could it symbolize?
Yes, in general, this is a Mashiach thing happening in this bracha. We're basically saying, bring Mashiach. In fact, I'll show you the video. These Taiwanese traveling musicians said, does Judaism have any teachings about the Gaza, how we can finish the Gaza thing? What are you going to do about this? How are you going to get peace? And I said, it's very hard to make peace with someone who just doesn't want peace. We have tried, by the way, many times. We said two-state solution, we're up for it, whatever. We really do want to have peace. But they don't. They say, we want to kill all Jews. That's how. I'd rather die than... I don't want peace. They don't want peace. They want to kill us all. Very, very difficult. And he told me some story about... He was looking for someone's house in Ein Kerem just now, a friend that he met, and he walked into someone's house by mistake, and the person came out and said, what do you want? He looks like some traveling gypsy, and he said, I'm just looking for my friend's house. So the guy said, okay, well, whilst you're waiting, do you want a drink? And he told that story, and he said, you see, maybe if you just offer a drink, then it will, at first you mistrust each other. I was like, my friend, he will kill you. He's going to blow you up. He's got a minefield in his house. He's going to blow you up. My friend. Now, by the way, if Hamas said, you know what, made a mistake, here, have your hostages back, and we won't shoot you anymore, I'd be like, great. I don't want to kill anyone. You can have a beautiful Mediterranean resort. It's a really nice place. Use all the aid money instead of for weapons and terror tunnels. Use it to build orchestras and parks and jobs. And just be like normal, and then you could have an amazing Mediterranean resort. You'd be like, I don't want to kill one any of you. They put their weapons down, not one more person dies. If we put our weapons down, not one more person lives. They're very clear. So he says, what's the solution? So I said, Mashiach. The only solution is to have an enlightened human being who can bring the whole world consciousness up. The whole world. Everyone has to leave their ego and get beyond their ego consciousness. And that's Mashiach's job, just to spread the consciousness of God, like bring God, mamish, into the world. And at that point, people are going to be scrambling to get on planes to Israel. It will be like, come on. So people say, I'll make aliyah when Mashiach comes. I'm like, wrong way around, mate. Mashiach comes when you make aliyah. He's waiting for you to be committed. I want to be here. Once again, I'm not a completely extreme right-wing Zionist, but because I think the Lubavitcher Rebbe never came to Israel. You know why the Lubavitcher Rebbe never came to Israel? Because he said, if I came, I wouldn't be allowed to leave. You're not allowed to just leave Israel. You think you're allowed to leave Israel? They didn't. And he was needed where he was needed. So once again, you shouldn't feel bad if you don't make aliyah. But you should at least find a little place within you that wants to. So I'm backing off from my extreme rant now and saying there are reasons, but don't beat yourself up. But there should be a little bit of a yearning. Why? Why? Just because your neshama definitely wants to be in Israel. Your neshama definitely wants to be in the Holy Land. And all the tzaddikim here. Just go and see Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Go to Shimshon's Kever. And all the tzaddikim. All the holy places. You know how many holy places? Where David fought Goliath. Where this is the land. This is where David HaMelech walked. Abraham, Yitzhak, Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, and Leah. This is where they're buried. This is where they walked. All the stories you hear. It's amazing. When my kids learn Tanakh, they learn the Torah and the Nevi'im and the Ketuvim, I said, we can go and visit what they're learning. Every time you eat cake, God forbid, every time you eat cake, you then say, in the bracha afterwards, you talk about Yerushalayim, coming back to Yerushalayim. Every time you eat bread, Uvnei Yerushalayim. It's all about you. Every time you're done with stubborn. Everyone's speaking about Yerushalayim all day, and we're living in Yerushalayim. Every Orthodox Jew mentions Yerushalayim many times a day. And we're living here. Every time they're learning, we're living. We're walking on the land that our ancestors walked on. That should freak you out. It's a mitzvah every 4 amas. Every 4 steps, that's a mitzvah. Every new 4 steps you take in the land of Israel opens up another part of your soul. I'll say this. That's why I walked from the Lebanese border to Eilat. I walked the whole length of Israel. It took 40 days. That's why I'm freaking out now. Look at my soul, it's freaking out. It's like, so opened. I got the most open soul. It's like amazing. You just let me taste the land. You land in Israel, everyone's clapping like, "Way, why are you clapping?" People don't clap. You land in Sheffield, people are like, okay, it's raining again. So if you're not going to make aliyah today, by the way, just call nefesh b'nefesh now. What are you doing? Then at least you should want to. And I love and respect every Jew, wherever they're living. Well, I really do. I just feel a bit sad for them that they're not fully connected to their neshama and their mitzvahs. Their mitzvahs, like trumas and maisas. I'm not going to tell the whole story again, but I took some of my lemons from my lemon tree and I gave some Maisa Rishon to a Levi. You can't do that in Baltimore. You're not doing that in Baltimore. There's things we're doing here that you can't do anywhere else. This is our place. Just understand this place. So when you're saying this bracha, you should be thinking, 1, bring all the Jews back to the physical land of Israel. 2, spiritually, let's get our land back because we can't do what we need to do. And 3, me personally, find that place within myself that really wants me and my family. I want to raise my children in Israel, playing in the streets of Israel. I can take them to Meran. I can take them to Sfat. I can take them to these places, amazing holy places. Are there any holy places outside of Israel? The Ukraine. I think there's, for some reason, I don't know what the spiritual reason is, but there's some very holy places. Maybe the Ohel. New York, you got your one little spot. In the whole of America, you got one little place. Oh hell. There you can go. That's what we're doing for. 10th Sphira is Malchut. Malchut is sovereignty. We come back to our land, so let's come back to our land. Shabbos.